Shelley Winter in for Mark Aram this morning up until 11:30, and then the pregame show for Georgia Tech. I normally air Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Please check me out if you have a chance. If you're ever in an automobile or at home, go to WSBRadio.com and say, what is Alexa, play 95.5. And you can listen to me at night. I'm here with Deborah Green, producer of the Mark Aram Show, Longoria, and my cousin Vinny, taking your calls. Her name was Sarah Beckstrom. She was 20 years old. She was a National Guardsman out of West Virginia. She got killed this past weekend, or a couple days ago. I keep thinking today is like Monday, because I had to get up so early this morning, and after the holiday. So her name was Sarah Beckstrom. And Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, he's 24 years old. He's fighting for his life. But Sarah passed away after being shot by an Afghan national by the White House. I want to take just a couple minutes and kind of walk us through where we are in our country today and why it's so destructive to us, not only as human beings, but to us as a country. And it's designed. This is by design, my friends. This is going on, and it's by design. When this shooting happened, one of the things that I noticed when I went to social media, the first thing I noticed was a whole bunch of Republicans were yelling about the Afghans being in this country and to deport them all. One of the other things I noticed, there was a story that popped up about Governor Kemp talking about letting them in. And all of a sudden, these people, these Afghans, because of the actions of one Afghan, all of a sudden, all these the Afghanis here in this country became persona non grata. They're the worst people ever, and to get rid of all of them. That's what I heard from conservatives. What I saw from Democrats was Trump vetted them. This is Trump's fault. The Afghans came in, and it's Trump administration, Trump DOJ that vetted them. That's what the Democrats were saying. And another thing the Democrats were saying is if Trump didn't put National Guard in D.C., this wouldn't have happened. He's the cause of their death. That's what Democrats were saying. And so I saw this because my social media, if you want to follow me on Facebook, you can. Shelley Winter, Shelley Winter. I saw this on social media, and I thought to myself, it was a clear indication. It reminded me of when the Tea Party versus the Occupy movement happened in this country. I saw the same thing, and I'm seeing it right now. This is what I saw when the Tea Party came up from the grassroots. It was just an organic movement, and Occupy was an organic movement. Both were later taken over by corporate interests. We understand why now. But when these movements rose up, the media, people, conservatives and liberals alike, conservatives pointed to the Occupy movement as a bunch of hippies and English majors who still live in their parents' basements. The left and the media called the Tea Party racist. Both had a corporate interest in pitting these groups against one another. You know why? Because both groups were saying the exact same thing. Hey, what about us? The economy had crashed, real estate had fallen through, and all the people, the Occupy movement and the Tea Party movement, all stood up with one voice in different camps on different sides of the political aisle and said, hey, what about us? But your corporate conservative talk media, they all went on there and says, oh, look at the Occupier, they're bums, they're this. And the liberal media and other people said, oh, look at the Tea Party, they're racist. But both groups of people were saying the same thing. What about us? I see the same thing with the reaction to the shooting in Washington, D.C. One side is blaming the president for even having the gall to have the National Guard in D.C., and they're also saying he was vetted by you, and what do you mean? And the other side, the conservative side, is saying get rid of every single foreigner here, get rid of all the Afghans. And the president always said we're going to re-vet green card holders. The reaction shouldn't be one or the other. For me, remembering how they treated the Tea Partiers and the Occupy Wall Street movement, for me, I'm looking at this after this shooting. You've got an Afghan national who came from Afghanistan after the debacle of a drawdown. He came here with others, military-aged men. He worked with the CIA and the Department of Defense in Afghanistan under several administrations. And he's brought here by this country, put up in Washington, in Oregon. Hey, have at it. You're an American dream now. And this guy's allowed to drive all the way across the country and shoot 2 National Guardsmen blocks away from the White House. My first thought is, it's not Biden's fault. My first thought is Trump's fault. My first thought is deport all. No, that's not my first thought. My first thought is this the Gulf of Tonkin all over again? Is this a false flag? Is this a way to, oh, wait a minute, hours after the shooting, Pete Hegseth said the president wanted, as requested, 500 new National Guardsmen moved into D.C. 500. What do you need a response of 500 new National Guardsmen to move into D.C. for one shooting? To me, that's what I'm concerned about. I think it's far time we stop being Republican or MAGA or pro-Trump, and we stop being anti-Trump, Democrat, and we start being Americans with a third eye and common sense. That's what we need to be, because there's something very fishy about this. And what's surprising to me is that conservatives, when Charlie Kirk was shot, within 5 minutes of Charlie Kirk being shot on television, Republicans had a conspiracy theory that it was the Mossad, it was the government, it was all of these conspiracy theories. But on this one, which so clearly points to something being something that we can't, that they're not saying to us. No Candace Owens, no Tucker Carlson is going out there saying, hey, there's more to see here. Shelley is. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I will tell you, I've seen this before. We've got to come together as Americans and stop being right and left, because that's how they fool us. That's how they trick us. I don't care what you think of Trump. I don't care if you like him or dislike him. An Afghani national who has fought, trained under the CIA and the Department of Defense, came here with thousands of others and just had an assassination attempt on 1, possibly 2 National Guardsmen blocks away from the White House. And he drove from Washington and Oregon. My first thought isn't blame Biden. My first thought isn't blame Trump. My first thought isn't blame the Democrats. My first thought isn't blame the hateful rhetoric. My first thought is, this seems to be a setup. Because you immediately move to reinvestigating every green card holder in this country, and you moved to move 500, not 50, not 500 National Guardsmen into D.C. 10 months, a year out from midterm elections. And you're moving them only into D.C. I have questions. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WS.